Okay, let's start off. It's 2 minutes past 3:50. Um, Happy afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome for this webinar. And today we are discussing simple but yet a key aspect of record keeping. It's all about importance of record keeping, record maintenance, and also uh, in the later part of the webinar, we will be discussing on the digitization. So on this aspect, it's me, myself, Arun Kumar, as partner at Conviction Business Solutions. I have Maitri with me, my colleague, and apart from that, we have Milind Joshi, Mr. Milind Joshi, and Mrs. Mohini Joshi. They are co-founders of View My Records. And so the way the webinar is structured is we will talk about the regulatory aspects and some aspects around record maintenance, record keeping. And then we'll hand it over to Mr. and Mrs. Joshi, who will talk about how digitization uh, would help us on the record maintenance aspects. And we have carved out 15 minutes also towards the end of the webinar for Q&A. In the meantime, any questions that you come across during the webinar, you can put it across in the Q&A section, and we'll pick it up at right time and then answer it. So, and also just to mention, this webinar is recorded and it will be hosted onto our YouTube channel, and the link would be shared with all the people who have registered for the webinar for future usage. So this way, in the past also we have put our webinars recordings over there, which can be accessed. Yeah. So let's talk about the key aspects that we wish to cover. Um, the one is the requirement under different regulations. Being in accounting and the finance field, we all are aware of the regulatory aspects to a certain extent, to whatever extent that we are aware. Of course, we will revisit and refresh our memories. It will act as a reckoner for us. And importance of data management and data retrieval. And of course, the interesting part and later part is the digitization. Yeah. So just to quickly understand why record keeping matters, or why it is so important, or why it is relevant in our day-to-day business activities. Of course, we all know records are integral part of bookkeeping or accounting function, and it also acts as legal document. Hence, it facilitates compliance from legal perspective. It facilitates managing the finances well. It acts as the key input for financial management. It also helps in a lot of decision making. Uh, when I say decision making, from mid management to the top management, they would want records to review, and then which will facilitate in different aspects of the business decisions that they undertake. Again, it helps in bringing transparency. When I say transparency, of course, it is away from ambiguity. Records help us move away from ambiguity, confusions, doubts, misunderstanding, misrepresentations, and then helps create or achieve transparency. This also helps in smooth function of operational activities in the business. Of course, uh, while we are talking about these aspects, it also helps in creating the reference whenever we have to go back in time and look into the transactions. So, in a just these are the different aspects that record keeping matters a lot. Yeah, next slide. So we were just thinking and ruminating as to where and all the record keeping gets triggered, or apart from the transaction flow, which are all the different acts that gets triggered or statutes that gets triggered. So here we try to plot the various aspects of the transaction or business transactions, starting with the transaction initiation. So it can be, let's say, even a sale transaction or a purchase transaction where the Companies Act and the Income Tax Act gets triggered to issue of GST invoices under GST Act again gets triggered. So yeah, generation, invoice generation, it is necessary. So again, a record is created. And then payment processing. The payment processing, again, there are different acts that gets triggered. Then utilization of goods, receipt of goods, and then services. Again, there is a document, that, for example, GRN, goods received note. That's also a record that is important. The seller says that, he has delivered, but the buyer says he has not received it. So that means it must be in transit. So the record, once it hits the godown, the GRN is issued. I'm just giving an example. So this is so relevant in a business transaction. The record that gets generated as GRN has to be preserved. Next, the sales and revenue transactions as part of the transaction flow. And then apart from that, the payroll processing and compliances. These also trigger different laws. I mean, compliance under different laws, labor laws like PF, PSI, other tech laws, factory laws, and Income Tax Act, and also Information Technology Act. These are the different laws that gets triggered while we are processing the payroll. And of course, the last but not the least, the preparation of financial statements, reports, and tax filings, different tax filings that we come across, and also other compliances that we do undertake under Companies Act, that we undertake under labor laws, the annual compliances, and also compliances uh, uh, like reporting under FEMA. So these are the different laws that where records are key, records are important, and then hence record maintenance and preservation is all the more important for complying with these different regulations or statutes. So understanding, having understood this, let's also understand how um, you know a structured environment versus unstructured environment play out. So under unstructured environment, when I say unstructured environment, an environment where records are maintained in a haphazard manner, records are scattered all along, and records are not easily, we cannot locate it easily. So what happens in case of an unstructured environment? So redundancy, that means multiple departments capture the same information independently. For example, inventory, uh, warehouse facilities manage their own records, purchase department maintains their own records, and the accounting or the finance team maintains their own records. So it is scattered. So that creates unnecessary repetition of workflow. Then inefficiency. This leads to inefficiency in that is the productivity falls or the top utmost efficiency and productivity is not achieved because of the duplication of the efforts. Then operational issues. Since these records are maintained in silos at different levels and different departments, it creates operational issues because one document doesn't talk to other document, and each of the divisions have their own set of documents to look into. And cascading delays. Of course, these adds to the delays in the process and inefficiencies. And at the top management level as well as the mid management level, these impact the decision making. That is, it adds to the lead time. It delays the processing of the decision making, and hence these are some of the flip sides of unstructured maintenance of records environment. Coming to the benefits of integrated environment, which is also structured environment, all these documents are captured in one place, and multiple divisions, multiple decision makers can retrieve it from the same location. It helps in enhancing efficiency or productivity, and which also leads to um, creation of faster MIS, that is management information, improved productivity, and reducing repetitive tasks. And since it is integrated reporting environment where data gets captured in one place, the transaction also gets facilitated at a faster pace. This decision making also happens in a faster pace, and it also helps in having better control. Yeah, while the documents are scattered in multiple places, there is no control, there is no checks and balance that gets observed. But when it is in an integrated environment, the controls are at a higher level. Hence, the trust is always there, and hence the people do not have to think about validation again and again. Of course, decision making, as I said, it helps facilitates decision making, and added to this, there is, because of the efficiency that goes up, cost of operations also comes down. So this is we just wanted to talk about certain about structured and unstructured environments where the record keeping and the data aspects are captured. So this is a brief about it. And moving forward, we will just we have identified different statutes where we have captured different laws, I mean provisions under different statutes, which talks about what is the periodicity of the data that needs to be captured, how many years, what are the regulations. This we will take you through quickly. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Arun. Thanks for giving that overview. Um, Welcome all, and very good evening from all of us. The very often the question that arises is that once the entire compliance period is over, very often we have this question as to how long can you maintain, how long can you retain the records, and when you have to actually go to the form of shredding, because warehousing and maintenance and keeping the records safe till any of the proceedings or any requests from the government authorities or any assessment is completed is a constant worry. So identifying the record, finding it, and also making it available. So this is a constant question any client always asks is how long do I need to maintain the records? Now, we've tried to encapsulate the key regulations more from working perspective from our side, and try to encapsulate what is the time limit across the different regulations. Now, each regulation would have a different time limit from a minimum period to a maximum period. Now, in those situation, I guess the more reasonable view to take would be you take the maximum period and say that if 10 years is at the end of one particular requirement, let us maintain records for the 10 years, because there will be an overlap of different regulations, and each transaction is to be required to be complied with across different regulations. So I will take one regulation at a time. Now, very common question is the biggest regulation which has an impact on all entities is the income tax regulations. Now, generally, the retention period provided under income tax regulation is actually 6 years. But they also provide that in case there is a chance of any reopening of assessment, then the 6 years can be pushed further and it can go up to 10 years. So 10 years becomes the outer limit. In case of transfer pricing documentation, they have mentioned that it is 8 years. Now, we have seen that in case of trusts, there has been a decent regulations which it has seen massive amendment in the last 2 years. There they have specifically said that trust records need to be kept for 10 years. So 10 years becomes more or less the main in principle time period for which you need to maintain records. So this is a massive requirement for any organization that all records with respect to any transaction will have to be kept for 10 years, because anything that impacts the profit and loss account will have an impact on your tax outstanding. So the requirement under the law for income tax, the outer limit becomes actually 10 years because of this. Now, going forward under Companies Act, This also acts in tandem with regard to income tax to the extent of the books of accounts that is required to be maintained. Under the Companies Act, the requirement for books of accounts is anywhere up to 8 years. If there is a specific request from the government authorities that it needs to go beyond 8 years, then you will have to comply with the government authority. Most of the cases, there is an outer limit. This is with regard to the books of account. Then you have other records which form part of the Companies Act regulations. Those that where we have to maintain different registers, different annual return requirements, other records, all those forming part of the compliance aspect of Companies Act. Now, for those items which are in the form of registers and other items which are part of the compliance requirements, it can vary anywhere up to 8 years, is an outer limit provided. But mind you, what needs to be kept in mind is that not all records are 8 years. There are certain records which have to be maintained in perpetuity, which could be like your register of members. Then it could be in terms of your board meeting minutes, etc. That could also be maintained in perpetuity. So this is something that needs to be kept in mind. Now, the other regulation, GST, is something that impacts most of us. With regard to GST, the regulation itself has come into foray only in the last few years. So the outer limit that has been mentioned under the GST is actually 72 months. So the regulations talks about a retention period to the extent of 72 months. Now, what is covered under GST is the entire transaction move from the time of creation of a revenue or a cost cycle, the entire transaction movement of goods to the which ends in the outward invoices that has been raised. The entire transaction flow, all records associated with these transactions will have to be maintained for the said defined period. Beyond this, I know it is quite sort of overwhelming because we have just covered three regulations and we see the massive number of records that is actually coming part of it. Now, we,
Maitri, we will just have one poll here, a short, quick
ah,
poll, members. You can answer in parallel.
yes,
We'll just take half a minute, 30 seconds, and you can continue, Maitri.
I'll just give us few seconds and then I will. Okay. Um, apart from that, one of the
You can proceed.
major apart from that, one of the major regulation would be the labor laws. When I say labor laws, why do I call it labor laws is because it is not one or two, but it's a plethora of laws that falls under it. Sometimes we have to actually find out only when the official comes, we actually get to know that there is some more laws which actually affects us. So in those regard, there is even though the intent of these laws is to protect different facets of compliance on personal side, there are a plethora of documents that also gets attached to each of these regulation. So there is a requirement for the entity to maintain records under for compliant being compliant with the different regulations. So here the requirement is that under PFESI it says up to 10 years, but the rest of the regulations can vary from 3 years on to up to 5 years. So this is the variance across all the regulations. Now, one other transaction that impacts most of the entities is FEMA related transaction. We being part of the globalization, it's imperative that we are welcoming to any outside investments as well as we have business existence beyond the frontiers of our country. So that requires for us to interact with different with respect to different transaction with externals, where you might be having a fundraise or you might be raising invoice outside or you might be receiving service from overseas or you could be having a disinvestment where one of the investors is leaving. And all these transactions results in movement of foreign exchange across the borders. And this requires that there needs to be record maintenance for the transaction flow so that even if there is a question with regard to who is the investor, where they are from, etc., etc., there is needs to be a record that needs to be maintained. With regard to FEMA, the retention period can be anywhere to up to 8 years, is what they have mentioned. Now, NBFC regulation also, there are a lot of requirements where there are so many documentation involved from the time of sanctioning to disbursement to repayment. There are so many aspects of the transaction that are covered as part of NBFC direction. Now, here also they say that it is 10 years from the date of cessation of the transaction, not from the origination, but rather cessation of the transaction between the NBFC and the client. So all the registers and records that needs to be maintained as part of NBFC also, you need to maintain it for at least 8 years. Now, SEBI also comes out with its set of regulations where if an entity is comes under the purview of SEBI, you need to maintain records for up to minimum of 8 years in case of venture capital. In case of RTAs, it is anywhere up to 3 years. And if it is stockbrokers or merchant bankers, it is minimum period is at least 5 years. So if there is any investigation or any proceeding that is being there, you need to maintain irrespective of the time frame. For the time frame, for the period that it is opened up, relating to that period, you need to continue maintaining the records to substantiate it. Now, we had a beautiful law, which was the Information Technology Act, which came into foray, which recognized the need that we have to move beyond physical transactions and physical documents. So that resulted in an ambit of the entire electronic transaction which accompanied it. So we have now current the concept of all DSEs that we have to do and all the licenses that we get. So all these transactions, whichever are prone to the digital medium, we need to maintain it at least for 8 years. So that is an outer limit with regard to electronic transactions that is there. Now, what has the Electronic Information Technology Act also facilitated is that it has provided a transition section under it, which also says that wherever there is a mention of physical record under any of the regulations, if the same has been digitized and maintained, then digital record would be considered and maintenance of that would suffice in the place of physical record is what it has mentioned. So that has been facilitated through the Information Technology Act. Now, we have seen just a few of the regulations that actually impacts businesses in a big way. Now, I'm sure each of you would be able to relate the amount of documentation and the amount of requirement of space and warehousing that would be integral part of it. We are currently in a state where we initially, when documentation actually worked, it was always documentation was considered more of a supporting or something to justify the transaction. We have evolved from that kind of a place where documentation is just a support for the transaction to documentation actually being an initiator to the transaction through the concept of digitization. Now, a document, apart from the fact that it initiates transaction, it enables capture and access throughout the organization. If there is a single document which is able to enable the entire transaction drive throughout, how beautiful it is if you are part of an integrated state where you don't need to just rely it for backup, but you just have one single document which everybody refers to, and that provides the mechanism to enable the transaction and it handholds till the transaction culminates into a closing of the transaction. So digitization is very, very imperative for any going forward, at least for most of the entities. Now we see large organizations embarking on digitization, but now the thought process of digitization has now gone and percolated even to the SME level, where lot of offices on lot of entities boast of being a paperless office. And that is, I think, an absolute dream where you don't need to go and depend on a document, but the document is always a click away. So that is one of the main impact of digitization. And it what does it help? It actually provides you easy access. It provides you improved security. Then it gives you convenience. And also the entire aspect culminates in enhanced collaboration. And that's what digitization actually enables. I'm very, very happy to hand over the session from here to Mr. Milind Joshi and Mohini here, who would actually take us forward as to how can this digitization can actually be a reality and what have they done in that space in order to enable it. Over to you, Mr. Milind and Mohini.
Thank you, Maithili and Arun. It was wonderful for you to touch upon the importance of different types of records and their compliance periods for which they have to be maintained. Yes, that's the financial side of it. The organizations will also have other types of business records. I would like to talk about that in 2 minutes. So that is
Mohini
if it's a
ji,
month, yeah.
there is one more poll that we have, short poll that we have created. The visitors can address that poll and parallelly while you are continuing on the session.
Yeah, sure.
You
So,
can go ahead.
yeah, yeah. Good evening again. Business records can be they can range from for a manufacturing company, design documents, quality records. For if it's a hospital, it can be patient records. It can be for a institution of education, student records. So it can span across departments. And as Arun mentioned, everyone is working in the silos. So can this digitization be should be done for only compliance? Can it give me the operational efficiency by breaking these silos? Is there a product which can help us? Are there services which can take me digital sooner? Because my focus of work is not digitalization, but I have my core competency which I want to work on, and somebody should help me on. So yes, Vuma Records is a 10-year-old company, and we have been helping MSME clients to complete their digital journey. We have been their long-term digital partners, and we are an extended team. So we are, for the interest of time, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Milind Joshi, my business partner and life partner. Over to you, Milind. Thank you.
Thank you, Moini. Thanks, Arun. So what I'm going to do is couple of slides. I will go through it and then talk about saying that what are the features, what are the clients, what are the use cases, and we'll leave the platform open for discussion. So what is an View My Record? View My Record is basically an award-winning Go digital ecosystem, and I'm concentrating on ecosystem because it's not only I scan a record and keep it, but it is available to much more people, and I'll cover that. So in 2019, so we launched our product in 2014, or the company was formed in 2014. We launched the product in 2017, and 2019 we were identified as a top 20 document management solution provider by Say Review Magazine. 2020 we were identified as a uh, technology enterprise of the year technology by Tai Hubli, and 2021 we moved from top 20 to top 10 position. Now, so what we have to offer, we are offering a highly scalable state of art on-premise or SaaS platform-based solution. So the solution can be hosted on your premises. It could be hosted on your cloud platform, or you could use it out of our cloud platform. So it's a completely independent of the platform, which comprises of web portal and mobile app for data management, document management, for storage and retrieval, and workflow management engine for process automations. So who are typical clients? Our typical clients are uh, companies which are data and paper intensive organizations, large organizations which are multi-locational, educational institutes, professionals, MSMEs, and anybody who are working remotely. Why people prefer our platform is it's like a what we have created is a data exchange. So data is pumped in by different people within the complete ecosystem. So you are creating some records, your client is creating some records and updating it, your vendor is creating some records and updating it, you are creating some data points and the vendor is accessing them directly. So it's basically kind of an exchange created wherein the data is stored centrally, and based on the access control you have, the data is available to you at a different time at different locations through the system. So it's not that you have to come to the place and have a look at it. What we are also doing is we are enabling the one of the biggest inertia in larger organization and maybe medium size also, I would not say that, but is who will do my backlog clearing? Because we have a backlog of data for last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And like Moini was saying, our business is not in clearing up that backlog. Like TVS Motor, their business is to manufacture two-wheelers. Shriram Property, their business is to develop the properties and sell them. Then his business is not creating the back data and all. And that is where we also come in and we help clear your backlogs in addition to providing you the digital platform. And over a period of time, when your people are self-sufficient and they feel that, okay, my day-to-day work, I can handle it myself. I don't need somebody to do that. We hand it over back to you and then you continue to use the system. So that is what we are now. So what are our offerings? So we start with process consulting as our initial offering, because whenever you are moving from a digital, non-digital or a physical record to digital, there is a big change because physical record is 0 or 1. You have access, you don't have access. You can see it, you cannot see it. Digital is not that way. So we help you strategize your process. Basically, it's a change and that change needs to be strategized. Then different kind of access control, because physically 0 and 1, I have access, I don't have access. Digitally, you have read only access, then you have print and download access, then you have upload access. So we help you standardize on that. Then we help you standardizing on the naming convention or the taxonomy of the records. Because see, what is happening today is we are used to looking at a big flat files wherein the lowermost document is the oldest record and the topmost is the newest record. But when you go into digital world, the way you scan the record, the scanning document gets scan 001, scan 002, scan 003, and you have no knowledge of how it is, which was where and what is happening. So we always suggest people saying that anytime you create a record or a digital document, you start it with 8 character. First 8 character should be YYYY, that is a year, for month, and DD. So you will always get a chronological order. Whether ascending or descending can be decided by clicking on a button, but you are never going to lose the chronological order. So we help you doing that. Then we help you capturing the metadata, because there could be a lot of information which is sitting inside a document. So to give an example, say there is a property which we have leased and the lease is coming for renewal, say on October 1st this year. Now, somebody need to be remembering that. So it's now on the basis of the memory is what we are working, because the person who could have done the earlier lease contract may have moved out of the organization, he's retired or he resigned or whatever it is, and somebody may not remember it. So what we say is that the record doesn't speak. So you have to make it speak. So you have to extract some information from there and set up some kind of a reminders so that it tells you what is happening. So those aspects we work with your organization to standardize. And that's the initial process consulting which carry on. Then what is there on our platform? So platform is basically a document system with workflow and third-party integration. So basic, if you look at it, yeah, it's a record storage, record retrieval system, but we are extremely strong on data privacy and multi-layer security. And that's because of the background. I have spent now 92 onwards, so 32 years in banking and insurance sector alone. And that is where the data privacy, data security is extremely critical and extremely important. So the data security privacy comes through 5 different layers in our system. First comes through the virus control and everything. Second comes through the encryption of the data. Third comes through the departmentalization of the data. Fourth comes through the audit trail. We have extremely strong audit trail. Every activity we perform on the system is audit trail. Who has done it? What was the date and time? What was the file involved? And what was the activity involved? We also have additional facility data captured, which is what was the IP address used, what was the browser used, and what was the operating system used. So you can do kind of a forensic analysis if you find something funny happening on your digital data. So that's a fourth level. Fifth level is what we call classification of the records. So records are classified as normal, confidential, highly secure. All the three you get audit trail. In normal, you got only audit trail. When you say confidential and say me and Mohini are part of the same department and Mohini has created a record. The moment I click on the record and open it for anything, viewing, printing, downloading, sharing, Mohini gets a notification saying that I have accessed the record. The next one, which is the highly secured, is suppose I create a record and Arun wants to access the record. The moment he clicks on the record, it asks a question to Arun saying that Arun, why you want to access this record? The answer Arun gives comes to me along with the OTP saying that Milind, Arun want to access this record for this reason. Do you want to give him access? So I can deny the access, or I can give him one-time access, or I can give him lifetime access. So you have a record level access, you have group level access, you have type of access, you have data encryption, and then virus attack and everything controlled at the top. So that's what is provided through us from stringent data privacy and multi-layer security. We have a functionality called reminders in which you can set up reminder for a record in which you say that, okay, this document is coming for renewal on October 1st. I need to be reminded 3 months ahead because the renewal process takes 2 months. So automatically a mail will come to you and a message will come to you. And beauty of the system is if you click on the message, the document opens up. So you don't need to be told. If the new person is there, he is not looking in the dark saying that what do I do with this document? It comes with a message, it has to be renewed and the whole document is available. And you can set up such multiple reminders. So person who is handling the case can get it 3 months ahead. His manager could get it 2 months ahead. The head of the admin can get 1 month ahead. So you can set up like that. We also have created something called retention scheduling. And what we were talking about saying that how many years a record need to be retained. So we have created a mechanism by which you can say, I want to retain a record for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, or lifetime. And after that, the record gets automatically deleted. Now you may say why you want to delete it. See, you are always cluttering a disk space if you are not deleting those old records. And I give always an example. We have our vehicles. All our vehicle insurance policies are coming in the digital format. How many of us ever have gone and deleted a single vehicle insurance policy which has expired? I would think if I take a poll, there will be 0 as a number saying that we go and delete it. And the reason is there is no mechanism to do that in the system today. So if I don't do it and if I search for a thing, I will get all those last 10 years policies coming over there and I have to select one out of that and work on it. And that is where retention scheduling plays a role. We have workflow management system where you can do workflows like purchase workflow. Somebody initiates it. Somebody looks at it saying that, okay, does it need to be going to 2-layer or 3-layer or 1-layer approval? Then multiple people, if there are 3 members, can 2 approve it and move forward. So like that, we have a purchase thing. You have employee joining workflows. We are doing the workflow for a company right now. They are into distillery business. You won't believe that if for a single product and if they have 3 or 4 variants out of that, to sell that product in India and abroad, they have to do 800 labels certification by excise department, 800. So now you can understand complexity involved in such a simple thing of a label for a liquor bottle or a liquor, whatever you want to call it as, okay? And that is where now we are helping them streamline it so much that the process will follow. You will know where the record is, who is handling it, what is happening with the record, so that you don't need to worry about saying that, okay, what's happening to my processes, because you have to take the permission from every state government, every export thing, for every label, you have to take a permission. And those are the complexities which get easily handled by workflow management solution. Then there is a very powerful search engine. You can do a search by the file, by the contents, by partial search, full search, and all these things. We have a mobile app, which also helps you in scanning a record and uploading it. You can do the search through the voice thing. We have another good concept called geotagging. Geotagging is basically you have your physical records, which you have digitized, you got into the system, and it's available to you for your usage. But sometimes you really need your physical record because somebody says, no, I need to see this record. And that time we are completely dependent on our staff members who file the papers. If they are not there, we are completely finished. We can never find the records. So what we have done is when we digitize a record, we have created 2 things there called on-premise or off-premise location. And you can say this is in box number 20, file number 2 in box number 23 in the rack number 2 of cupboard number 3. So at any point of time, even if you are present here or outside, you can help retrieve the physical record if you want to do it. And that's very much used in the medical record industry, because all those files are kept in as FIFO or whatever it is, and then slowly they keep changing that, reparking it at a proper level, which is true for even us and true for all the chartered accounting groups. When your student go on their 2 months leave, it is very difficult for us to find all their records and what is happening with it and all this thing. Or if a person who was handling that client, say she gets married and moves out to another location, now you'll have to put another person in place and he has to do everything. But here, by digitization, you can actually allow her to continue all the activities which is required. And then we have done a beautiful thing in Tally integration. So what we have done here is, in Tally, there is no mechanism to store the records, which is a physical supporting document. So you raise a purchase order, it goes to the client ships it. So there is a shipping invoice, then there are shipping document, then you have good received note, then you have acceptance note, all these things. But these documents are never linked to the voucher which you are creating. So what we have created now is you create a voucher in Tally, and you digitize all these records and attach it to the voucher and say upload to view my record. So the records, this digital records go and sit on the view my record, while Tally has only the reference ID available with it. Then you could have a branch office, head office, auditor office. So the branch office can export the Tally data to the head office. Head office can import that data, click on that voucher and say, so show me the supporting document. It goes to view my record, fetches the records, brings it back and showcase to you inside the Tally. You can send it to the auditor. Auditor can do the same thing. So sitting at the location, auditor can do your audits very easily. It was very useful tool during the COVID kind of environment where you could not go to the auditor's place. Auditors could not go to your location because of restriction that you cannot sit within 2 meters and this and all that thing. Very useful tool from that perspective. And we have done it for Tally. We can do it for Zoos or any other products which are there in the ERP system. And it is not necessarily true only for a financial transaction. Even a patient record is that way. A hospital can access it, the patient can access it. So I'll cover some of the use cases going forward. We also, as I mentioned, we also help people in digitizing their records. We go to your client side, we do the record. We are tied up with Iron Mountain, where we can help you in physical storage of the record. And we can also shred the record at the end of the period. So what we are essentially are a single point of contact for all your digitization needs, digitalization and digitization needs. So that's in a short what we are. And then if you look at my clientele, we have clientele across real estate. Shriram Properties is my client here. Vasavi Group is my other client in Hyderabad. Avenue Garden is client from Mysore. Adarsh Vista, the villa group. Jain Farm, the farmhouse, farmlands, they are my client. All of them, we are digitizing all the records. I'll talk about that use case. Decathlon, the sports goods company, every legal record of Decathlon, legal real estate, legal corporate, all and legal construction, all of them are with us. We just finished yesterday. We do this exercise every year. We have 180 plus stores of Decathlon digitized and available on my platform. Indian Terrain uses it for their cocos. TVS Motor is my large client. We started with their HR. We moved from HR to their dealer network, from there to their R&D, then their central purchase. I will cover that again. We have a couple of NGOs which are there, the Deshpande Foundation from Hubli, Navasayog Foundation here, Hindu Seva Pratishthan in Bangalore. Then we have KLE Tech University, which is using it for their educational record. We have a few IT sectors, companies, healthcare. My brother's hospital in Sholapur uses it for his outpatient record. We have an insurance broker, used to be called Rentry Roots. It's now called Right Roots. They just started their business and they are completely digital platform. What has happened is, as you are aware, insurance sector is expanding. They want to expand the reach. So in addition to insurance agents, they are allowing something called POSPs, point of sale people, which do not need to have the IRDA certification. A company appointing them can train them and certify them, and they can sell fixed type of policies. There are 5, 6 major key policies, and there are variants of that. So like your health insurance, your fixed annuities, your term life insurance, your vehicle insurance. So there are 5, 6 main thing, and then there are sub variants out of that. They are all supported. So the POSP can go and get a policy. So they have started with the vehicle insurance first, and whole of that process is on our platform, starting from registration of a POSP, examination for them, issual of their certificate, verification of all their records, so digital verification of their PAN card, Aadhaar card, all that aspect of it. Any contract which gets created between POSP and the company is digitally signed or e-signed. That is created and stored on the platform. Now they can enter the vehicle number, get the insurance details, get the quotation from the insurance company, pass it on to the people, send them the link for the payment. And when the insurance company issues the policy, that gets stored on my platform and goes to the client. Now, so the next year, when the year is about to get over, the reminders will come to the insurance these brokers and or POSPs and to the person saying that, okay, your policy is due for renewal, so that they will do it. And they are planning to be 1 lakh POSPs in next 5 years. And even if they are talking about 100 policies a year, we are talking about a crore records, active records, and 1 crore closing records available in the system at any point of time. That's the kind of a volume this system is designed for. Then we had another certification body, but they just went onto their own platform now. Then I have another company called Zug Electric. Zug Electric is basically setting up electrical vehicle distribution network in the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 places. So they sign up somebody called EVR, EV Ranger, who keeps the charging station at his location. So it could be a shop, it could be a petrol bunk, it could be some mall or whatever it is. So they have basically in tier 2, 3, 4 cities, or it could be a healthcare center or whatever it is. They will allow these people to set up the charging stations. So they start to earn their money through the charging station. These guys will get the requirements of the people. So they are basically acting as their sales front ends. So they collect the leads, pass it on to the sales executives. The sales executive now follows up those leads, and then they have a fantastic model. What they have done is every electrical vehicle, they have created their 3D imaging complete solution, which can be looked at through those 3D goggles or image, whatever you want to call it as 3D stations. Okay. And so they take those 3D places. So what they do is these sales executives look at, say that, okay, now I have 50 people who are interested in EV. So they go and set up a sales camp. And on the sales camp, they do the show the pictures to the EV people. So some of them will say, okay, I want these 5 vehicles, then they will get those 5 vehicles. So now, without setting up any infrastructure per se, they are able to sell the products from every company. Now, large companies have their own 4,000, 5,000 dealer network. But smaller companies, there are 50 EV companies who have no dealer network other than tier 1 cities. So now they are seeing opportunity to expand their business through this. And Zug is looking at something like a 20,000 EVRs to be signed up in next 3 years. So that's the kind of a thing which they are looking at. So to talk about few use cases, view my records. So Shriram Properties, 49 projects, 51 million square feet, 28,000 clients. We have finished 28 projects with 12,000 plus client records. So we manage their real estate records. So typically they buy the properties, then they convert them into non-agricultural, then they put it together as a layout, then they go for approval. So all this legal documentation, then all their drawings, their plans, complete project drawing, individual tower drawing, floor drawing, individual flat drawing, all that is again on my platform, HR across the platform, and their CRM data. Whenever you buy a property from any developer, there's a lot of exchange of data which happens, papers which happen get exchanged. So all of that is digitized, and beauty of our system is the client has potential access to that data for their own property. CRM has access to all the records, while client has access to his own record. So he doesn't need to call up Shriram Properties and say, give me this data, give me that data. So they have started this now on their new projects completely. So we have done nearly their old records, 12 lakh pages plus records have been digitized by us and they are available on the system. We have a 10-year contract with them. So looking at that success of that, I'm getting quite a few inquiries and conversions on this real estate area. Second one is Decathlon. We spoke about it, all their legal records, 180 plus stores. We are digitized, 7 plus lakh pages to digitize for them. Again, a 10-year contract. Indian Terrain, 161 COCOs, they are using it for their store digitization records. TVS started with their HR record. We started with their white collar employees. Then we covered their blue collar 3000 and 3000 apprentice. This only in Hosur we are talking about. Now we have to do Mysore and then we have to go their Himachal Pradesh plant also, and then their ex-employees. Looking at that success, their network department, which is the dealers network, which is sales and service dealer, we digitize for all them. There are 4,500 active dealers, and then there are 4,000 plus closed dealers. So all those records are stored. We are completely managing that aspect. Now we are under discussion for them for digital contracting also. Their R&D has started using it. That works with BMW, works with Germany, works with IIT Bombay. We have developed a complete workflow system for their patent alerts. So when the patents are announced by the patent group in the country, then those patents come to TVS Motor. They basically get them downloaded, and then they have to understand the impact of it. Now the legal team may not understand the complete impact, but they know that this is relevant to us. So they have 20-25 member legal team which go through all that patents which are announced every day, every week of the month and every month. And then they look at, does it have impact on TVS? If it is there, then they pass it to the respective group within TVS. They look at it, they understand the patent, they understand the impact. And if they have to file a counter, then they will send their legal team saying that please file like this counter because of this. Or if it has no impact, they will say no impact. So whole of this process is going through my platform right now. Now they are also going to do their patent filing itself, creation and filing itself through this platform. The central purchase uses it for stores, legal uses it for accessing. Again, 10-year contract with TVS. They are on their private cloud. All the earlier things were on my cloud. TVS is on their private cloud. KLE Tech University, it's an on-server premise implementation. They have started with their employee records, contract staff, consultants and everything. Now their big thirst is on their quality management departments because they have to go through 5 different certifications every year. NAC certification, UGC certification, NBA certification, state government certification, Indian higher education department certification. So there are 5, 6, 7 things they have to go through. And the amount of record they have to keep it is extremely high. Plus, there are not many places they don't have a dedicated people for this work. So what happens is somebody is free in the department for the physics, say electrical or electronics department. They will identify that person saying that this department needs you will handle. Some other department will handle something else. So the people keep changing and it becomes extremely difficult for them to manage their record. I mean, you will laugh at it, but they have to keep the records of how many trees are there on their campus. And then they have to show for the next 5 years. I mean, every year that the number of trees is not getting reduced. So the green coverage is increasing. Good thought process. But the kind of data you have to collect is so vast and so different that it is becoming extremely difficult for them to manage it. And they are put everything onto this platform now. Then their marketing department is starting using it for all their brochures, advertisements, their events and everything. Their student records are coming onto the platform now for which student has gone to which place for their internship, how many offers were made. So all that data is now slowly coming into the system and getting stored over here. This is the 4th year they are using the system. Then this is where actually they are using it for some of the things in their certification. They have to show it is not a thing saying that we have done it, but you have to showcase that we have done it. So they need a process flow which say that, okay, somebody initiated that. So this is a process flow for say syllabus approval. So HOD based on the input from the industry or from the student or from the staff, they have to keep renewing. I mean, enhancing their syllabus. So they have to enhance the syllabus, assign somebody to work on it. Then it goes through their board of studies. Board of studies has to approve it. Then it comes to their academic council. They approve it. Then after that, it goes to the VC, the in charge of that. They publish it, and they have to show that they have done all these things. It is not so. Some earlier they used to put a stamp and then signatures. So what we have done is we are now digitizing that process completely. So the movement from HOD to the staff member to the BOS to the academic council to all this will get captured like this, saying that okay, this was released from here, it got approved by this person on this date, time, and this was the comment. So somebody doesn't need to now create the record. As a process they are doing it, it automatically getting captured, so the data is available for you for anything. Same thing true for purchase, saying that you can find out where it was there, at what time, when it was processed, when it was finished, and who took maximum time, automatic escalations, all that can be done through the system. Yeah. And then we have another platform, again, another real estate company where the pre-sales is also done on the platform. Insurance broker we talked about, lead management platform for the EV two-wheeler we talked about. NGOs, we actually started with the NGO called Navasayog in Bangalore. We met them in Deshpande Foundation annual day. They started with us when there were two villages. So they are basically into skill development for village kids. So when we started, we had covered with them two villages, 60 students. Today they are in 300 plus villages across 5 states, including Northeast, Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, 9,000 students. Whole of their platform, their daily attendance, their daily events capture, how much time has been spent on every event, who has done that, their audios, their videos, their pictures are taken. So the people sitting at the central location in Bangalore, end of the day can find out how many students were present, how many boys, how many girls, what events were performed, what was the skilling done. All this happens through this platform. Looking at that success, we got another similar project from Hindu Seva Pratishthan on the similar platform for their SSLC top-up. We have also done direct benefit transfer for HSP. They identify families which have suffered through COVID or need medical help or whatever it is. And the complete process of after they are identified by the people coming to the HSP approval, then payments, instruction going to the Karnataka bank, payment getting credited to the beneficiary, or sometimes payment gets credited to on account of beneficiary to somebody else. Like some of the beneficiaries, I've told them saying that we cannot take the cash because if we take the cash, our husband may come beat us and take the cash and drink and finish. So they said, give us a ration. So what they do is they identify the grocery shop there and say, these are the 5 families to whom you have to give such and such ration, and the money transfers to that grocery shop. So he has a fixed business. He makes sure that the ration is delivered so that everything is taken care of. Looking at the success of that, another Seva Mitra group, which is into vocational training, is starting the project now. They will be running across 300 centers. Another institute in Pune does a plumbing training. So these are some of the things which are done. Me and Moini, as we said, are co-founder directors of this company. And that's what basically we are talking about. We have now half an hour for our questions, answers, whatever you want to know about it.
Thank you, Milind and Mohini. It was very informative, and all the more we got an overview or a complete picture on how the data that or the record that can get captured and from grassroots level or the initiation level itself, if the digitization is brought into place, a lot of redundancy as well as duplications and inefficiencies can be plugged. This was very, very informative. Now that we understand that the digitization and record maintenance go in tandem, we'll see how we can improve our efficiencies at our client places. Thanks a lot. And members, we have 30 minutes. Uh, We are happy to take questions.
There are a few questions that are posted in the chat.
Okay.
Can you look at it, sir, or you want me to read it out? You,
Yeah, we can look at that. Oh, 1 second.
It says how
It's
long will it
posted
take?
on chat.
Yeah.
yeah, I think you can see that.
Good. Good. Yes. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was
The
trying to read
question
it at
from
Q&A, but sorry.
Yeah, so
Oh, it's
in
on
it's
chat.
in
chat.
chat. It's in chat section.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the
So how
question
Yeah.
long
from
it takes
Nisha Ji
time to
is
onboarding the tool and make it go live? Depend upon the organization size. It could vary from 3 to 5 days to a month's time. The reason I'm saying month is if you are multi-locational, everything multi there, then we'll have to sit with you and see the which one has a maximum impact and take it up front and then get going. But it typically doesn't take more than a week to go live actually.
Yeah. The second question is about the server.
Yeah, so we are hosting our servers on Microsoft Azure platform, currently hosted out of Chennai, and but we can go on your own platform. So if you have it in Pune, you have in uh, North anywhere or wherever you want to host it, we have no issues about it at all. And we are completely transparent to who is your cloud provider, whether it is Azure or it is a Google or it's Amazon, AWS. We don't have any issues about it. Yes, we can definitely we can do it integration other than Tally. If there is a API available, we can do the integration with those solutions. We can definitely explore that and do it. Is the workflow
Milind.
feature available as a standalone? It is not available as a standalone option, but it is available as a part of the DMS solution because typically what we are doing over here is a document which is flowing across the organization, and that is where the DMS part is required. But otherwise, workflow works completely independent of the DMS per se. It needs DMS because the document has to flow.
Milind, one more question that Mr. Mayank Goyal had asked is if you can touch upon the security that backend that you have. I know I'm aware that there are multi-layer securities that you bring in. If you can briefly touch upon that.
Okay, so security and the front end we explained, but what about the back end? So the Microsoft Azure platform. Okay, let me go on say that. In last 8 years of our utilization, there has been zero successful attempts of hacking onto the platform. So it starts with Microsoft Azure providing the virus attack control. So they take care of the virus attack control. Then they provide the backup and restoration of the data. They provide the uh, availability of the server. So that takes care of your availability aspect of the business. Then every record we encrypt is encrypted 3 times. Okay, once it leaves my PC, it is encrypted. Second time, the backend, which is hosted on Microsoft Azure platform, we are encrypting the record there, and that record encryption is symmetrical or asymmetrical, which is AES and RSA with multiple key strengths, 128, 192, 256, 512 bit, and you can keep changing that. And the third integration is we have opted for Azure's encryption of the complete server. So every data is 3 times encrypted. And then, so that is the backend security aspect. You can look at it if that is what you are looking at. Yeah.
In case of a closed API, how does it?
So closed API, we still have to make a call to the API. So as long as you can provide us a platform through which we can come kind of a VPN or something, we will be able to connect to your network, and through the VPN tunnel, we can do closed API integration also. However, through VPN, I have not done it so far because all the places they have opened up the platform for us for accessing it. So, but technically, it is not an issue. Give a little bit of a background of ourselves so that will give you some confidence to you. I did my master's MTech from IISc back in 84, 86. Started working with Sonata Software, worked with them for 5.5 years. moved from there to ANZ Banking Group, worked with them another 5.5 years. From there, I went and started a back office for a US insurance company. That got sold off to Accenture. And from there, I ran a company called Exchanging for 14 years, where we are doing Lloyd's of London reinsurance backend processing, Deutsche Bank backend processing, Aon reinsurance backend processing. So basically, we spend all our time and effort on Moini is a ISB Hyderabad alumni. My CTO is a IIT Bombay, MTech. So fairly involved technical people who have spent all their time on technology. So yeah, I don't say something is extremely easy or something, but we will definitely get it implemented if whatever the challenges are.
Yeah, DMS, we can pull it from other systems.
Can we pull it from another? Yeah, we cannot put it from another platform directly, but if it is on a server, which is SMTP server, we can actually get the documents from SMTP server directly and automatically and host them. Imaging of old physical records, we provide that facility as a service. So that's why I call it as a full service SaaS. It's not only SaaS, but it's a full service SaaS where I provide our people onto your premises. In fact, I'm doing it for TVS Motor. TVS Motor HR records I have done, TVS Motor network I have done, TVS Network CPD I'm doing a little bit of work. So if you are in TVS Motor and Hosur Finance, I have been talking to people already in the finance group, sir. I had a look at all your that huge records, 3 crore plus pages which are sitting there. I have suggested some solution there and we can help you throughout. Yeah. Closed API, workflow features available in standalone, system integrated with accounting, tally. Yeah, that we said yes. Servers we answered. How long will it take? We answered. Yeah.
There is a latest question.
Yeah.
The platform is cloud-based, and
Yeah, so when it's cloud-based, again, we need basically the interface. See, most of the cloud-based platforms will provide you the API integrations. Okay, so we can actually do the API calls to your system and extract the data from that and bring it up to us. So which platform is this we are talking about? If it is a S3 or something, we will be easily able to do it.
let me see if the member can unmute and speak.
Yeah. I mean, or they can, we can
Salma,
have,
can you?
anyway, we can interact with them later on. Not an issue at all.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll be
yes.
happy to
Sure.
connect
Yeah.
and talk in detail.
Yes, we do a search by. So what we have done is when we index a record, we capture the name of the file, etc. And we also capture index data, key data words on which you typically will look for the thing, saying that this is a sales voucher. This is a sales voucher of say TVS Motor. So you can put some keywords over there and you can do a search based on the key values, which become faster. But if you want a content search, we also allow content search of your record. So it can go inside the document and do the content search and bring it. But that becomes a little bit slower, but it does that job. Yeah. So
I don't think there are any more questions. We'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we can wind up.
sure.
Maithili, you want to put up the contact details so that members
Yeah,
can.
everybody will have.
Yeah.
Once
And
again.
maybe if you have their email IDs, we should share our presentation. So
Yeah,
becomes
we
That's
easier
what we
will,
for
will be
them to.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
we will
We
be doing.
talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
so we will be sharing both the presentations so that you have overview of this and as well as the product profile. that we will share it to all the people who have registered here. If you have not registered and if you have a direct link, please kindly put it on the chat and we will include your email as well there.
Yeah. So if data is lost, how can we retrieve the data? Now, the Microsoft Azure platform, we do everyday backup of the data, and you can retrieve it anytime you do that. Pricing, we have multiple types of pricing. We have unlimited user pricing for large organizations. We have subscription-based pricing for slab-based pricing for uh, who are not looking at that large volume of people. We have pricing on end user base. So like Shriram Properties, we charge by every flat sold. And when we digitize that, we charge by that. It is not that just because they have 1,000 flats, they are in that campus, we charge them upfront. We sell them. If they sold 50 flats this month and we digitize them, we charge only for those 50 flats. So we have a complete different flexible pricing because whole of this system is developed, designed, architected, developed, designed, and maintained by us completely all this time. Yeah, we'll give the once we have the details, what is that you are looking at, we will definitely share you the implementation and AMC costs. Because I need to understand a little bit better and we can do that. And we do provide services not only in Bangalore, we have people across the locations.
Pan India.
So yeah, Pan India. Basically, we have tie up with the people. Chennai, I have people. Kolkata, I have people. Pune, I have people. Mumbai, I have people. Bangalore, anyway, is our office. So Vizag, we have few people. So we have people across the thing where we are tied up with them. So they can come and do the digitization and clear your backlog. And on the regular basis, typically we don't produce more than 10, 20, 30 pages, which your people itself can be able to do it after some time. It's a extremely simple to use platform actually.
We can have a product demo if there is interest, so that you get more details about the product.
Yeah, we can even showcase now few minutes if you want to.
Please go ahead, Mr. Milan. Since we have some more time,
yeah,
we have exactly 15 minutes. Maybe you can.
Yeah, so I'll cover not
10.
more than 5 minutes. So this
Sure,
is
sure.
the product. I'll just share the screen.
I think you can get in touch with us with our phone numbers or through Maitri and Arun. They can always connect us to you.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is our screen. I'm now logging into my own business. All of my business is sitting on this platform. So now it has gone and fetched the thing. So you create basically something called group or departments as we are talking about. So there's admin and facilities, their client application, client demo, finance, financial, HR, IT. So I'll just go into say finance and I can create different department inside that. So I'll just say, okay, GST, invoices, etc., etc. Click on invoices. And I'd say, okay, I'm just opening one document here. So now you can see actually that this has gone to Chennai, fetched that record and brought it up over here. Yeah, there's some supporting document which was there. I can just download that record here. Just click download. I can share this record with variety of control, saying that I want to share this for demo and then give the name of the person, the text of the body which you are sharing. The beauty of the system is it allows you to say, I'm sharing with you till 15th of June, 5 p.m. And then it also says what you can do. You can only view it. You can view and print. You can view, print, download. You can view, print, and share further. I just click on share. The record goes to them. Now it's only the link goes to them, not the original record. So they are forced to come into my system and have a look at that record. So you always have a unique source of truth or single source of truth, I call it, which is there onto the platform. So they will always refer to the same record at any point of time. They are not going to see multiple record. You share the record with 10 people, all of them when they log in, they will have a look at it, the same record at any point of time, not version 1.0, 1.1, unless you share 1.1 with somebody and 1.2 with somebody. Now, this is the quick activity as I was talking about audit trail. Milind Joshi of View My Record has opened the record Grand City supporting on 12 June at 16:46:17, and he has closed this record at 16:47:24. So 7 seconds I had kept that record open. So it even tracks that. Now the advantage of that is it automatically brings a control over unsolicited opening of the records or documents and seeing them, because they know that the supervisor is going to know about it at some point of time. Now, in terms of search, I can just do a search saying that, okay, I have MTB and I want to do a search. I can do a folder search, file search, including subdirectories, including expired record from this date to this date, content search included, and then type of record. You have multiple types of records. AGM notice, MGM, accounting record. I want to search only accounting record, I can do that. If I want to search only agreements, I can do that. So I'll just keep it open here right now and just do a search. So it has gone and found out so many records. If I want to find out a record within this record search, I can just enter say 2020. And then from that 8 or 9 records, it has now come to 1. I can click on it, open it, and the record is over here. Right? So that is how simple the solution is. And uploading of a record, I will just show you. So I'll say I'll go to HR department and I want to upload one record. So I'm uploading a same name record again to showcase what happens. So I'll say upload. So the uploading is done. Now this record was uploaded now. It had the same name of PP. So it creates bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket 3 like that. Yeah. And here is where I index a record. So I'll say what was this, say, because this is a HR section, only HR type of records are there. So you can say it is a personal record. And then you can have identity proof or whatever it is, other personal or photograph, whatever it is. You can give some quick record. What is the date of the document? This is where you decide how many years you want to store the record. I will say I want to store it for lifetime. This is where you say offsite location, file number 1, box number 1, whatever it is. This is the categorization of the record we spoke about: normal, confidential, highly secured. This is a reminder saying that this is the record and this is expiring on say October 1st. And say remind me renewal of this lease. You want to remind it same day, 3 days ahead, 1 week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, 1 month ahead, or whatever it is. So you can set up a reminders like this. So the basic functionality, whatever you saw all that and heard all that, is clearly created in a very simplistic way. The whole idea is anybody able to use Google Mail or Gmail or anything of that nature, or even our regular Microsoft Office or Microsoft thing, should be able to use the solution straight away. So this is as simple as this to use the system. Any specific questions?
Yeah, about the formats, we do support all the formats. In fact, for medical records, we also support ICOM format.
Yeah, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, images, all PNG, anything. We also allow you to store drawing files, which can AutoCAD drawing files, and it can be directly read without anything there. Yeah, you can store Excel, Word, PowerPoint, everything.
Yeah, bulk upload is possible.
Bulk upload, you can do multiple selections and upload, drag and drop and upload. Both are possible. Folder upload as it is not supported. So you might have to create a folder and upload it right now. But within a folder, you can have 50 files uploaded No questions. Yeah. Any more questions, queries?
Thank you. Thank you, Arun and Maithili. It has been wonderful to be a part of this and to interact with your clients and friends.
Thank you, Moniji, and thank you, Malay. Very informative. In fact, we try to do as an entity, Innovation Business Solutions, we always try to bring solutions not just from regulatory or social or finance, but also operational matters. We try to streamline things on various aspects. We try to bring data to the promoters or the key stakeholders or the decision makers. We help them in improving the processes. We do a lot of things. End of the day, the bottom line is we try to enable technology as well as create smooth flow of information as well as help decision making in a faster pace. This always requires bringing data because any information has to be an informed decision. I mean, any decision has to be informed decision. That being the case, this is one of the tools that we highly recommend. That digitization of records is the key. It's one of the key aspects in our business life, business aspect. So I think we have covered almost all the queries and questions. It was wonderful. One last, I think, yeah. There was one query, Milinji, you wish
Yes.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, soft copy can be attached. No need that it has to be only scanned.
Fantastic. So I think with this, now we all know that every good thing has to come to an end. So this webinar, we hope it was informative, and we also expect some action taking at your end on the digitization and clearing old records also. That being the case, we hope this was of use to you all, and looking forward to connect with you on another topic in another webinar. Thank you all and have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
all.
Arun.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for a patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last poll, I think my colleagues have posted. If you can
Yes.
spare one more minute, and then you can sign off. Thank you. Thank you all once again.